Students, today we'll solve the fifth problem in our dissolution chapter. So this is the fifth problem on page 246. Sita and Geeta are partners in the firm sharing profit and loss in the ratio of 4:1. They decided to dissolve the firm. Their balance sheet as on 31st March is given as under, and additional information is also given. We'll prepare the necessary ledger accounts, that is realization account, cash in hand account and partners capital account. So students, this is a realization account, partners capital account and cash in hand. So let's start. By now you all are familiar with the steps for dissolution. So first we begin with transfer of all assets and liabilities and the opening balances. Our assets, furniture, plant, trademark, these will be transferred to the debit side of realization account. Now sundry debtors, rupees 48,000 in inner column. There's RD, rupees 3,000. Here we have to show 48,000 on the debit side of realization account, and RD of 3,000 will be shown on the credit side of realization account. Then stock on the debit side of realization account. Cash in hand, we'll be preparing cash in hand account. So we show this 10,000 as opening balance in cash in hand. Now advertisement suspense account. This is a deferred revenue expenditure which has to be written off. Now we'll write off this advertisement suspense account by debiting it to partners capital account. Then the opening capital balances on the credit side of partners capital account. Sundry creditors and bank loan will be transferring it to the credit side of realization account. These are the assets and liabilities that we have transferred from the balance sheet. Now here you see we have written the amount of debtors, 48,000 on the debit side of realization account and RD 3,000 on the credit side of realization account. Then advertisement suspense account to be written off by distributing it among the partners. So on the debit side of partners capital account, we write 6,400 in Sita's amount column and 1,600 in Geeta's amount column. 8,000 rupees is distributed in the ratio of 4:1. Now we see the additional information. The first adjustment, plant and stock taken over by Sita, rupees 78,000 and 22,000 respectively. We show this on the credit side of realization account. Plant 78,000, stock 22,000. The total is 1 lakh. And since this has been taken over by Sita, we'll be showing this on the debit side of Sita's capital account to realization account 1 lakh. The second adjustment, debtors realized 90% of the book value. So 90% of 48,000 we have to calculate. That will come to 43,200. Then trademark realized is at 5,000 rupees. Then here we have goodwill realized rupees 27,000. Goodwill is an asset and this is asset realized. It will be shown on the credit side of realization account. 90% of 48,000 for debtors is 43,200. Trademark and goodwill is recorded. Third adjustment, unrecorded assets estimated rupees 4,500 was sold for rupees 1,500. There are some assets which are not shown in our balance sheet. These assets were worth 4,500 and we have realized 1,500 for this. Unrecorded assets realized 1,500. So the total assets realized are 76,700. Now this will be shown on the debit side of cash account. 76,700 assets realized. The fourth adjustment, rupees 1,000 discount were allowed by creditors while paying their claim. The amount of creditors is 35,000. They have allowed us a discount of rupees 1,000. So we'll be paying them 34,000 now. Now students, keep one thing in mind. we have to see that all our liabilities are paid off. Even if there is no information given in the question, still we have to check whether the liabilities are paid off. So your creditors have been paid off, but they have not said anything about the bank loan. So we have to pass an entry to show that we are paying this bank loan. Creditors realized on the debit side of realization account 34,000, bank loan 15,000. Here we have paid off rupees 49,000 as the total liabilities. Now this amount 49,000 will be shown on the credit side of cash account. Then the fifth adjustment, realization expenses amounted to rupees 3,500. Realization expenses paid on the debit side of realization account 3,500 to cash account, and this will be shown on the credit side of cash account 3,500. We write by realization account. Now we are finished with all the adjustments. Let's close realization account. Take the total 2,29,700. Credit side is greater, so we get a realization profit of rupees 12,200. This will be distributed among the partners, that is Sita and Geeta, in the ratio of 4:1. So Sita 9,760, Geeta 2,440. Transfer this to partners capital account credit side since it is realization profit. Now after this, we'll take up the totals of partners capital account. In Sita's capital account, the debit side is greater, so we get an amount of 6,640 on the credit side. This is the amount which Sita has to pay in cash, and Geeta will be receiving an amount of 40,840 in cash. The amount which is received from Sita will be shown on the debit side of cash account 6,640, and amount paid to Geeta on the credit side. Now after this, when we take up the total of cash in hand account, it will tally, that is 93,340. We have finished the sum here. I am sure you have understood this. Thank you.